Chapter 28. That night, Tom and Huck were ready for their adventure. They hung about the neighborhood of the tavern until after 9. One watching the alley at a distance and the other the tavern door. Nobody entered the alley or left it. Nobody resembling the Spaniard entered or left the tavern door. The night promised to be a fair one, so Tom went home with the understanding that if a considerable degree of darkness came on, Huck was to come and maul. Whereupon he would slip out and try the keys. But the night remained clear, and Huck closed his watch and retired to bed in an empty sugar hogshead about 12. Tuesday the boys had same ill luck, also Wednesday. But Thursday night promised better. Tom slept out in a good season with his aunt's old tin lantern and a large towel to blindfold it with. He hid the lantern in Huck's sugar hogshead and the watch began. An hour before midnight the tavern closed up and its lights, the only ones thereabout, were put out. No Spaniard had been seen. Nobody had entered or left the alley. Everything was auspicious. The blackness of darkness reigned. The perfect stillness was interrupted only by occasional mattering of distant thunder. Tom got his lantern, lit it in the hogshead, wrapped it closely in the towel, and the two adventurers crept in the gloom toward the tavern. Huck stood sentry and Tom felt his way into the alley. Then there was a season of waiting anxiety that weighed upon Huck's spirits like a mountain. He began to wish he could see flash from the lantern. It would frighten him, but it would at least tell him that Tom was alive yet. It seems hours since Tom had disappeared. Surely he must have fainted. Maybe he was dead. Maybe his heart burst under terror and excitement. In his uneasiness, Huck found himself drawing closer and closer to the alley, fearing all sorts of dreadful things and momentary expecting some catastrophe to happen that would take away his breath. There was not much to take away, for he seemed only able to inhale it by thin flights, and his heart would soon wear itself out the way it was biting. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, and Tom came tearing by him. "Run," said he. "Run for your life." He needn't have repeated it. Once was enough. Huck was making 30 or 40 miles an hour before the repetition was uttered. The boys never stopped till they reached the shadow deserted cloudless hours at the lower end of the village. Just as they got within its shelter, the storm burst and the rain poured down. As soon as Tom got his breath, he said, "Huck, it was the owl. I tried to off the keys just as soft as I could, but they seemed to make such a power of racket that I couldn't hardly get my breath. I was so scared. They wouldn't turn in the lock either." Well, without noticing what I was doing, I took hold of the knob, and open comes the door. It weren't locked. I hopped and shook off the towel and great geezers gasped. What is it, Tom?" "Huck, I must step onto Incanca's hand." "No." "Yes." He was lying there, sound asleep on the floor, with his old patch on his eye and his arms spread out. "Lordy, what did you do? Did he wake up?" "No, never mind. drunk, I reckon. I just grabbed the towel and started. I never thought of the towel, I bet. Well, I would. My aunt would make me mighty sick if I lost it. Say, Tom, did you see that box? Huck, I didn't wait to look around. I didn't see box. I didn't see the cross. I didn't see anything but a bottle and tin cup on the floor by Kanjoa. Yes, I saw 2 barrels and lots more bottles in the room. Don't you see? Now what's the matter with that haunted room? How? Why it's haunted with whiskey? Maybe all the temperance taverns have got a haunted room. Hey, Hawk, well, I reckon maybe that's so. Who'd have thought such a thing? But say Tom knows a mighty good time to get the box. If Incan Joy's drunk, it is that you try it. Hawk shuddered. Well, no, I reckon not. And I reckon not, Hawk. Only 1 bottle alongside of Incanco ain't enough. If there'd been 3, he had been drunk enough and I'd do it. There was a long pause for reflection and then Tom said, Look here, Huck, let's not try that thing anymore till we know Incan just not in there. It's too scary. Now, if we watch every night, we will be that sure to see him go out sometime or other, and then we will snatch that box quicker lighting. Well, I'm agreed. I will watch the whole night long, and I will do it every night too, if you do the other part of the job. All right, I will. All you got to do is to trot up Harper Street a block and mow, and if I'm asleep, you throw some gravel at the window and that will fetch me. Agreed, and good as wit. Now, Huck, the storm's over and I will go home. It begins to be daylight in a couple of hours. You go back and watch along, will you? I said I would, Tom, and I will. I will hunt that tavern every night for a year. I will sleep all day and I will stand watch all night. That's all right. Now, where are you going to sleep? In Ben Roger's hideout. He lets me, and so does his Papes, nigger man, Uncle Jake. I thought water for Uncle Jake whenever he wants me to, and any time I ask him, he gives me a little something to eat if he can spare it. That's a mighty good nigger, Tom. He likes me because I don't ever act as if I was above him. Sometimes I sit right down and eat with him, but you needn't tell that. A body's got to do things when he is awful hungry. He wouldn't want to do as a steady thing. Well, if I don't want you in the daytime, I let you sleep. I won't come bothering around anytime you see something's up in the night. Just skip right around and mow. Chapter 29. The first thing Tom heard on Friday morning was a glad piece of news. Judge Thatcher's family had come back to Tom the night before. Both Incanjoa and the teacher sank into secondary importance for a moment, and Becky took the chief place the boys' interest. He saw her, and they had an exhausting good time playing hissy and goalkeeper with a crowd of their schoolmates. The day was completed and crowded in a peculiarly satisfactory way. Beckett used her mother to appoint the next day for the long promised and long delayed picnic, and she consented. The child's delight was boundless, and Tom is not more moderate. The invitations were sent out before sunset, and straightway the young folks of the village were thrown into a fever of preparation and pleasurable anticipation. Tom's excitement enabled him to keep awake until a pretty late hour, and he had good hopes of hearing Huck's mouth and of having his treasure to astonish Becky and the picnickers with next day, but he was disappointed. No signal came that night. Morning came eventually, and by 10 or 11 o'clock, a giddy and rollicking company were gathered at Judge Teacher's, and everything was ready for a start. It was not the custom for elderly people to mar the picnics with their presence. The children were considered safe enough under the wings of a few young ladies of 18 and a few young gentlemen of 23 or thereabouts. The old steam fireboat was chartered for the occasion. Presently, the gathering piled up the main street, laden with provision baskets. Sid was sick and had to miss the fun. Mary remained at home to entertain him. The last thing Mrs. Thatcher said to Becky was, "You will not get back till late. Perhaps you would better stay all night with some of the girls that live near the fair landing, child. Then I will say Susie Harper." "Mama, very well, and mind and behave yourself, and don't be any trouble." Presently, as they tripped along, Tom said to Becky, "Say, I will tell you what we'll do. Instead of going to Joy Harper's, we'll climb right up the hill and stop at the Widow Douglas. She will have ice cream. She has it most every day, that lot of it, and she will be awful glad to have us. Oh, that will be fun." Then Becky reflected a moment and said, "But what will Mama say? How will she ever know?" The girl turned the idea over in her mind and said reluctantly, "I reckon it's wrong, but shucks. Your mother won't know, and so what's the harm? All she wants is that we will be safe, and I bet you she would go that if she had a thought of it. I know she would." The Widow Douglas' splendid hospitality was a tempting bite. It and Tom's persuasions presently carried the day. So it was decided to say nothing anybody about the night program. Presently it occurred to some that maybe Huck might come this very night and give the signal. The thought took a deal of the spirit out of his anticipations. Still, he could not bear to give up the fun at Widow Douglas. And why should he give it up? He reasoned. The signal did not come the night before, so why should it be any more likely to come tonight? The sheer fun of the evening outweighed the uncertain pleasure, and boy-like he determined to yield the stronger inclination and not allow himself to think of the box of money another time that day. 3 miles below town, the ferryboat stopped at the mouth of a woody hollow and tied up. The crowd swarmed ashore, and soon the forest distance and crag height echoed for and near with shoutings and laughter. All the different ways of getting hot and tired were gone through with, and by the rowers struggled back to camp, fortified with responsible appetites, and then the destruction of good things began. After the feast, there was a refreshing season of rest and chat in the shade of braiding oaks. By and by, somebody shouted, "Who's ready for the cave?" Everybody was. Bundles of candles were produced, and straightway there was a generous scamper up the hill. The mouth of the cave was up the hillside, an opening shaped like a ladder A. Its massive oaken door stood onward, with a modest small chamber, chilly as an ice house, and walled by nature with solid limestone that was dewy with a cold sweat. It was romantic and mysterious to stand here in the deep gloom and look out upon the green valley shining in the sun. But the impressiveness of the situation quickly wore off, and the romping began again. The moment a candle was lighted, there was a general rush upon the owner of it. A struggle and a gallant defense followed, but the candle was soon knocked down or blown out, and then there was a glad clamor of laughter and a new chase. But all things have an end. By and by, the procession went filing down the steep descent of the main avenue, the flickering ring of light dimly revealing the lofty walls of rock almost to their point of junction 60 feet overhead. This main avenue was not more than 8 or 10 feet wide. Every few steps, other lofty and still narrower crevices branched from it on either hand, for MacDowell's cave was but a vast labyrinth of cricket aisles that ran into each other and out again, and led nowhere. It was said that one might wander days and nights together through its intricate tangle of rifts and chasms, and never find the end of the cave, and that he might go down and still down into the earth, and it was just the same, labyrinth under labyrinth, and no end to any of them. No man knew the cave. That was an impossible thing. Most of the young men knew a portion of it, and it was not customary to venture much beyond this known portion. Tom Sawyer knew as much of the cave as anyone. The procession moved along the main avenue some 3/4 of a mile, and then groups and couples began to slip aside into branch avenues, fly along the dismal corridors, and take each other by surprise at points where their corridors join again. Parties were able to elude each other for the space of half an hour without going beyond the now ground. By and by, one group after another came straggling back to the mud of the cave, panting, hilarious, smeared from head to foot with tallow, dripping, daubed with clay, and entirely delighted with the success of the day. Then they were astonished to find that they had been taking no note of time, and that night was about at hand. The clanging bell had been calling for half an hour. However, this sort of close to the day's adventures was romantic and therefore satisfactory. When the ferryboat with her white freight pushed into the stream, nobody cared sixpence for the wasted time but the captain of the craft. Huck was already upon his watch when the ferryboat lights went glinting past the wharf. He heard no noise on board, for the young people were as subdued and still as people usually are who are nearly tired to death. He wondered what boat it was and why she did not stop at the wharf, and then he dropped her out of his mind and put his attention upon his business. The night was growing cloudy and dark. 10 o'clock came, and the noise of vehicles ceased. Scattered lights began to wink out. All dragon foot passengers disappeared. The village betook itself to its slumbers and left the small watcher alone with the silence and the ghost. 11 o'clock came, and the tavern lights were put out. Darkness everywhere now. Huck waited what seemed a very long time, but nothing happened. His faith was weakening. Was there any use? Was there really any use? Why not give it up and turn it? A noise fell upon his ear. He was all attention in an instant. The alley door closed softly. He sprang to the corner of the brick store. The next moment, 2 men brushed by him, and one seems to have something under his arm. It must be that box. So they were going to remove the teaser. Why call Tom now? It would be absurd. The man would get away with Buck and never be found again. No, he would stick to their wake and follow them. He would trust to the darkness for security from discovery. So, communing with himself, Huck stepped out and glided along behind the men, cat-like, with bare feet, allowing them to keep just far enough and not to be invisible. They moved up the river street 3 blocks, then turned to the left up a cross street. They went straight ahead, then until they came to the pit that led up Cardiff Hill. This they took. They passed by the old Welshman's house halfway up the hill without hesitating, and Sid climbed aboard. Good old Huck, they will bury it in the old quarry. But they never stopped at the quarry. They passed on up the summit. They plunged into the narrow path between the tall smack bushes and were at once hidden in the gloom. Huck closed up to shorten his distance now, for they would never be able to see him. He trod along a while, then slackened his pace, fearing he was gaining too fast, moved on a piece, then stopped altogether. Listened, no sound, none, save that he seemed to hear the beating of his own heart, the hooting of an owl came over the hill, ominous sound, but no footsteps. He was when everything closed. He was about to spring with winged feet when a man cleared his throat not 4 feet from him. Huck's heart shot into his throat, but he swallowed it again, and then he stood there shaking as if a dozen agues had taken charge of him at once, and so weak that he thought he must surely fall to ground. He knew where he was. He knew he was within 5 steps of the sail leading into Widow Douglas' ground very well. He thought, let them bury it there. It won't be hard to find. Now there was a voice, a very loud voice. inconspicuous. Damn her, maybe she's got company. There's lights, late as it is. I can't see any. This was that stranger's voice, the stranger of the haunted house. A deadly chill went to Huck's heart. This then was the revenge job. His thought was to fly. Then he remembered that the widow Douglas had been kind to him more than once, and maybe these men were going to murder her. He wished he dared venture to warn her, but he knew he didn't dare. They might come and catch him. He thought all this and more in the moment that elapsed between the stranger's remark and Incognito's next, which was, because the bush is in your way. Now, this way, now. You see, don't you? Yes, well, there's company there, I reckon. Better give it up. Give it up and I just leaving this country forever. Give it up and maybe never have another chance. I tell you again, as I have told you before, I don't care for her to wait.
You may have it, but her husband was wrong on me.
Many times he was wrong on me, and many he was the justice of peace that jacked me for a vagrant. And that ain't all. It ain't a million part of it. He had me horsewhipped in front of the jail like a nigger, with all the town look on horsewhip. Do you understand? He took advantage of me and died. But I will take it out of her. Oh, don't kill her. Don't do that. Kill? Who said anything about killing? I will kill him if he was here, but not her. When you want to get revenge on a woman, you don't kill her. Bush. You go for her looks. You slit her nostrils. You notch her ears like so. By God, that's. Keep your opinion to yourself. It will be safest for you. I will tie her to the bed. If she bleeds to death, is that my fault? I will not cry if she does. My friend, you will help me in this thing for my sake. That's why you're here. I may not be able alone. If you flinch, I will kill you. Do you understand that? And if I have to kill you, I will kill her. And then I reckon nobody will ever know much about who done this business. Well, if it's got to be done, let's get at it. The quicker the better. I'm all in the shower. Do it now.
And company there, look here. I will get suspicious of you. First thing you know. No, we will wait till the lights are out. There is no hurry. Huck felt that a silence was going to ensue. A thing still more awful than any amount of murderous talk. So he held his breath and stepped gingerly back, planted his foot carefully and firmly. After balancing one leg in a precarious way and almost toppling over, first on one side and then on the other,
he took another step back with the same elaboration and the same risks, then another and another, and a twig snapped under his foot. His breath stopped and he listened. There was no sound. The stillness was perfect. His growth date was measureless. Now he turned in his tracks. Between the walls of smoke bushes, turned himself as carefully as if he were a sheep, and then stepped quickly but cautiously along. When he emerged at the quarry, he felt secure, and so he picked up his nimble heels and flew. Down he sped, till he reached the Welshman's. He banged at the door, and presently the heads of the old man and his two stalwart sons were thrust from windows. What's wrong there? Who is banging? What do you want? Let me in quick. I will tell everything. Why, who are you? Huckleberry Finn. Quick, let me in. Huckleberry Finn. Indeed, it ain't a name to open many doors, I judge, but let him in. Let's see what's the trouble. Please don't ever tell I told you, were Huck's first words when he got in. Please don't. I will be killed, sure. But widows, being good friends to me,
sometimes, and I want to tell. I will tell if you will promise you won't ever say it was me. By George, he has got something to tell, or he wouldn't act so, exclaimed the old man. Out with it, and nobody here will ever tell that. 3 minutes later, the old man and his sons, well armed, were up the hill and just entering the smoke pad on tiptoe, their weapons in their hands. Huck accompanied them no further. He hid behind a great boulder and fell to listening. There was a lagging, anxious silence, and then all of a sudden there was an explosion of firearms and a cry. Huck waited for no particulars. He sprang away and sped down the hill as fast as his legs could carry him.